It's time to meet Clifton.
With your host, Ray Grabowski.
Here's Ray.
Thanks for joining us. Good evening, hello, and welcome to Meet Clifton. I'm your host, Ray, and this is my co-host, George.
Hello, Ray.
How's
How you
it going
doing tonight?
We're hoping for a good show tonight.
Yes, without a doubt.
Well, tonight's guest will be with us in just a moment, but for now, let's check in with our house band, the Two Tones Orchestra, and the wonderful music that they provide. Hit it, Lenny.
On tonight's Meet Clifton, Ray will be sitting down with Director of Public Relations for St. Mary's Hospital, Vanessa Warner, Clifton Cable TV Station Manager, Craig Shom, and plastic surgeon, Dr. Alphonsus Doerr. With more music by the Two Tones. All this and much more on Meet Clifton.
Well, welcome to the show. Recently, we've had several physicians from the St. Mary's Hospital join us to explain the many facets of healthcare that they provide. Here to give us a bit of a broader scope of how St. Mary's helps Clifton and the surrounding communities is PR Director Vanessa Warner.
Hi.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Hope I got that right.
Yes, you sure did. Thank you,
Thanks
sir.
for joining us. Firstly, let me explain that Vanessa is Director of Public Relations and Business Development at St. Mary's General Hospital and also the hospital's physician liaison.
Yes, that's
Which is
true.
a pretty big title. It's a lot to say. And we're going to try to tie this into the community of Clifton because we're a Clifton-based show. And now St. Mary's is now part of the Prime healthcare system. So what does that mean for our community?
Well, you know, it's easy to tie the hospital into the Clifton community because
it's here.
we're one and the same.
Right.
So many of our employees, our doctors, our nurses live in Clifton, born and raised Cliftonites, and that's really part of the St. Mary's General family.
Right.
And so we try to focus on taking care of the community because there are literally sometimes our brothers and sisters. The good thing about being part of Prime Healthcare is that they're a huge national healthcare system.
Right.
So through them, we're able to get a lot of financing. In the last few years, Prime has helped us get all sorts of new equipment, state-of-the-art cardiac equipment, an amazing new imaging department. So being part of a large system that has won so many awards for quality and innovation helps us be a better community hospital.
Right. Now, I know that obviously everyone here lives in Clifton. We're the only hospital in Passaic with an emergency room, right?
That's right.
So-
Actually, St. Mary's General Hospital is the only hospital in Passaic, the entire city.
Right.
But it's also the closest emergency room to Clifton, Nutley, Rutherford, a lot of the surrounding towns, Garfield. And, you know, this is a tremendous boon to
Right.
these communities to have a hospital so close by. But for us, it's also a tremendous responsibility.
Right.
And it's a duty that we take very seriously.
Okay, now let me just preface this by saying St. Mary's was originally Passaic General Hospital.
Yes.
Because many of us were born in Passaic General Hospital. I think half the people watching this show were born in
That's right.
Passaic General.
Mhm.
And then, of course, St. Mary's was on
Was a few blocks away.
Right.
There's been a few hospitals. There was actually 3 originally. And over the last 150 years, you know, as healthcare changed and
Right.
medicine changed, the hospitals started connecting and forming into one. So St. Mary's General Hospital is actually the new version of Passaic General,
Right.
which had so many fabulous expertise, especially in
Absolutely.
cancer.
Absolutely.
And the original St. Mary's Hospital, which was very well known for its maternal child health.
Right.
Lots of beautiful babies.
And a lot of people don't remember that Beth Israel was a hospital.
And Beth Israel
also
as well.
was in Passaic.
Yes.
So now we have one, which is good, and so obviously it's great. Talking about the hospital, what are the parts of excellence? You know, what would you say this hospital is noted for?
Well, I definitely would love people in Clifton to know that they can feel safe, understanding that our emergency room specializes in cardiac health. So
Right.
a lot of people don't know that we're actually a heart institute. So God forbid if you had a heart attack, even chest pain, come right to St. Mary's because we are a certified cardiac facility. We're also a stroke center. And that means a big difference to the people in the community. If you, God forbid, think you're having a stroke or heart pain, you think you're having a heart attack, every second counts.
Oh, absolutely.
Every second counts. So knowing that St. Mary's is so close to you and has that special expertise makes a big difference in the lives of people.
Sure, and I know we had on the show, I think it was Dr. Shakir, I think he's the...
Yes,
operates-
cardiothoracic surgeon.
Right. And actually, I know friends of mine that have had to use him,
Yeah.
and they were very happy. Actually, people are really happy with the St. Mary's experience now. They've done a lot.
We have made huge strides. You know, I think a lot of hospitals really suffered in the 90s and the early 200s. It was just so difficult. But over the last 4 years, since we've had the financial help and
Right.
support of Prime, I have to
Right.
say, things have changed. If you haven't been to St. Mary's General in the last couple of years, you should come. I'll give you a private tour.
Oh, that'd be fine.
It is gorgeous.
And the cafeteria food is really good.
It is. We have a new chef. We have a new chef,
It's good.
actually.
People go there just to eat.
Just the food, yeah. We have a special senior supper club.
Right. Oh,
So
really?
seniors get a discounted price and they can come for supper. And, you know, it's more of a social event. But we
Sure.
do have a genuine chef, not just a
Wow.
line cook. We just hired a wonderful chef. So every single area of the hospital is improving.
Right. And obviously, because of your work, promoting the hospital, it's come a long way.
I hope so.
Yeah, you have a great reputation.
Thank you.
And probably lastly, what I want to touch on is what's new, what's happening at this, at the hospital.
Well, they say that hospitals are supposed to take care of people from every stage of their life.
Right.
And that's really what we're doing. We just renovated a maternal child health area, but a big focus for us is geriatrics. There are a
Okay,
lot
right.
of seniors in our towns, and we have started a special program. It's called Senior Care Services. It's a senior care program, and the concept is that it sort of wraps around the patient. So when you first become a senior, we want to keep you healthy.
Sure.
And that's why we have the Senior Link Club, which has all kinds of free programs and lectures and exercise discounts in the community. It's a wonderful program. And then, should you become ill, we have a specially trained team. Everybody from physical therapists to geriatricians to take care of you.
Right.
And then we help you go back home, or if you need like an interim step
Right.
between the hospital
Mhm.
and home, we have a nurse who only does that. That's her only job, is to help you and your family transition so that you can be safe and healthy and become active again.
Yeah, well, we're glad we know you, and I'm going to hand this senior thing to George.
I'm taking it too.
I know you are. I know you have one more thing here if you want
actually,
to share that with us.
I just wanted to let people know that in addition to the Senior Link Club and our new geriatrics program, we have a mailer, a community mailer that lets everybody know about our health events and free programs. The spring and summer is now available.
Okay.
And I know that later on in your program, you'll be flashing up a phone number. People can give us
Yes,
a call.
yeah, we will.
Please call me, and I'll send it to you if you like.
Okay,
Very
thank you.
nice.
Vanessa, I really appreciate it. Thanks for
Oh,
coming
thank
on.
you.
We learned a lot, and you've helped us out a lot on the show, sending us a lot of fabulous physicians.
Well, I have to say, I was thrilled when you invited me to
Right,
come and talk.
thank you.
Thank you.
Stay tuned. We have a special interview with the Clifton Channel's Craig Shom, so stay right here.
Hi everyone. At the next Board of Health meeting, the Clifton Health Department will be presenting their 2017 Annual Health Report. This meeting will be held on Tuesday, June 12th at 6:30 p.m. in the conference room of Clifton City Hall at 900 Clifton Avenue. This Annual Health Report is a review of all the accomplishments that were achieved by the Health Department last year, and all residents are welcome to attend this meeting. If you have any questions, you can call 973-470-5760. Thank you.
We're back. This show was an idea of mine I had a few years ago. When I first learned there was a new cable TV manager, I saw an opportunity to create new programming and utilize our cable station to its potential. Luckily, he agreed and has done much to advance this channel's credibility. Joining us now is cable TV station manager, Fred Shom.
Hey, how are you, George?
I'm doing good.
Hey, Ray. Thanks for having me.
It's not like I don't see you every 2 weeks.
Yeah, seriously, I know.
Actually, Craig is the TV station manager, and we've been doing the show for about 2 years. But to highlight him a little bit because he does a great job. Tell us a little bit about your position.
Okay, well, the cable TV station manager has to be responsible for everything that goes on in the studio. The studio itself, the equipment, any programming that is done here, like this show. Right. Training of any volunteers, scheduling of programs, editing if that needs to be done, making sure if there's any technology that's going awry, I have to fix that too.
Sure. When you first got here, what shape was the cable station in? 'Cause I don't even remember, but I just...
Well, when I got here, the first thing I noticed actually was that we have, a lot of people don't actually realize this, we have two cable providers that we work with.
Right.
One is Optimum, the other one is Fios. The problem that I saw was that the Optimum's feed was never right.
Okay.
Color was not right, there were lines in the image, it was fuzzy. When you looked at it in comparison to Fios, it was always just not right. Fios
Right.
looked pristine. So that was one thing I had to fix. I know there was always audio issues with Fios.
Right.
It was always a little low, so I had to raise that.
No, I remember there were
Yes.
some complaints from the... Right.
I've tried to instill everybody to use high definition because even, the cable providers still use a standard definition video, so that's
Right.
4:3, it's almost a square. But we're 4 years ago, so 14 years into the new millennium, 14 years into using high definition. Why aren't we using high definition? People want that.
Right, and it's not, that technology's been around, we should be
Right,
using it.
that was my point.
Right,
So,
it didn't happen yesterday.
exactly, so I started using that. Just little things here and there to try to make it a little bit more professional looking. I mean,
Right.
it's a public access channel, it's never going to be perfect.
Right,
We're
of course.
never going to be CBS, NBC, whatever.
Huh.
But, just instilling a little bit of professionalism into me and what I do,
Right.
and then obviously my volunteers,
Right.
it goes a long way.
And I know you're also, and I think this is going to lead up to one of George's questions, you're also responsible for the programming and how it gets on the website, right? And I think George had a question about that?
Well, I don't particularly talk about the webpage, but why can't we get a lot of complaints with the cable committee about the sound in the small room.
Yes, we do.
That needs to be explained to everybody.
Thank you, George. Yeah, it is a problem that we do get a lot.
Yeah.
The problem is that room was just completely not designed for a public forum. It's designed to be a small conference room where people can gather and set ideas apart. But for public forums, it's just completely inadequate. So when we have the council meetings, the work session,
Right.
or sometimes the
The regular session.
well, no, sometimes the planning board goes in there because the court runs late.
And sometimes the council's there when we don't meet on a Tuesday
Right,
night.
right. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that too.
Yeah.
But in those instances, you got the fan running. The fan is just loud and circulating all the time. You
And
can't
then
handle
touching the
that.
papers and moving
And you're
papers
touching the
around.
papers. The microphones actually hang just
Yes.
like
Yes.
4 feet off the ground.
Right.
They're designed to pick up every sound, and it does pick up every sound, and that's what I want people to understand. If I raise my level to compensate for people's voices,
Right.
and that's another thing, people speak softly. So if I'm compensating for someone who speaks softly, I'm also amplifying the room sound. So there's really nothing I can do
Right,
about
because you got
it.
the ambient sound going around.
Right.
And yeah,
Right.
it's not a perfect
It's
world.
not a perfect
And,
world.
we're dealing with equipment that we have, and obviously we're a cable station, and you're doing the best we can.
Thank you.
No, and people, we have some good programming, but moving forward now, what's next for the the Clifton channel?
Well, okay, so next, I would say, like I said before, we're working with HD now.
Right.
We've been for a couple of years. I want to, and this show is obviously HD.
Right.
The one thing I want to instill now is that the cameras downstairs
Right.
in the courtroom should be HD.
Right.
First of all, it'll just create a better image when people are watching.
Right.
For zoning or planning boards,
Right.
when there's presentations
Sure.
going on, you can actually see
Right.
everything. And there's cameras now that have better low light sensitivity.
Right.
So there's dark spots in the courtroom that sometimes you can't see things.
Right. So hopefully
That'll
we can
help.
upgrade our equipment down the road, right?
I want to upgrade those
Yeah.
equipments, and we're trying to do some more. There's a new automation system that I purchased a couple of years ago.
Okay.
So we're trying to integrate that new system, do some more things with. There should be a little bug right here that says the Clifton channel, as I'm looking at this camera.
Right.
So that's new. There's other graphics. There's we could do scrolling titles
Right.
now.
Yeah.
All of that's gonna.
Right. So we're trying
becoming
to bring ourselves, move forward, move into the future, get a
Exactly.
little more professional, right?
Yes.
I think other than that, I mean, just really quickly, public getting involved, other than maybe joining the cable committee, are there volunteer type things that
Yeah,
they can do?
absolutely. I want people to come out. First of all, if anyone sees something that they think is a little off, don't hesitate to email me. My email is CliftonCable7740 at cliftonnj.org. Just shoot me a line. I'll be more than happy to look at whatever issue you're seeing.
Right.
And figure out if it's a problem or if it can be fixed.
Okay.
That's number one. Number two is also email me if you want to get involved. If you want to become a volunteer and be on shows like this.
Right, if you ever have an idea for a show, of course.
Well, yeah, learning the cameras
Right.
or
Helping out.
You want to build your own show. I'll help you format a show. It's not my decision who gets a show. That would be the cable
Right,
advisory
right, of
committee.
course, but-
I can always just help guide you to make a template of sorts, and we can go before the committee. And then the last thing I want to say is that the committee actually has a survey out right now.
Yes.
It's down on the table outside the courtroom.
Right.
Just fill it out. We want to know what shows you guys are watching. We want to know what times you're watching. And, just any general comments that you may have. Would you like this? You don't like
Right.
that? You want to see more of something. Let us know that. That's all good criticism. And we want to start tailoring the show. We want to start tailoring the channel
Right.
to our viewers.
Okay. All right, well, yay or nay, we want to hear from you. Craig, thanks for explaining how this
Of
works,
course.
and we'll be right back.
Hello, Clifton and friends. Welcome to the updates. We have great weather outside. We have a lot of fun things happening. And to start off, the Theater League of Clifton will be presenting their Fantastics. It is hosted at the Holy Assumption Church Theater Hall, which is at 35 Orange Ave in Clifton. And you can reserve your tickets either online at thetheaterleagueofclifton.com or please call 973-928-7668 for tickets. And that's happening May 11th, 12th, and 13th. May 18th, 19th, and 20th. They're $20 in advance or $25 at the door. Then also, again this year, the Recreation Department will be hosting their outdoor concerts. That will be starting in June, and to start it off will be Botany Village. They will have that in the first week of June, and that is located at the Green Center in Botany Village. So please go to the Recreation website so you can see which concerts are happening when, normally Friday and Saturday, and so you can see the variety of concerts that they will be having. So hopefully we'll see you this year just like we saw you last year. Bring a friend, bring a chair. It's a great night out. So thanks for joining, and hopefully we'll see you then.
Thanks for sticking with us. When we last had Dr. Doerr on the program, we were discussing his accomplishments in the 2016 Paralympics. Today, he has returned to us to discuss his expertise in a subject that we all have at least heard about in some capacity, plastic surgery. Please welcome Dr. Alphonsus Doerr.
Hi, Ray.
Nice to
How
see
are
you.
you? Nice
Thank
to
you.
see you.
Plastic surgery, okay? I guess let's start with the basic question everyone wants to know. Is it really plastic?
No.
Or why do we even call it plastic?
Well, the term comes from the the Greek word for to change form, plastikos, and so we change the shape, we change the form of things when we do plastic surgery. There's cosmetic plastic surgery, which changes people's looks, but there's also reconstructive plastic surgery, which changes people's form after bad accidents, cancer, extirpation, etc.
Okay, so the difference between reconstructive surgery and plastic surgery, is it similar? Or?
Well, reconstructive surgery falls into plastic surgery, and there are many categories of plastic surgery. There is, as we were saying, cosmetic plastic surgery, reconstructive plastic surgery. We do a lot of pediatric plastic surgery over in Patterson, and we'll take kids that are born with congenital deformities, and we'll restore their looks so that they can have a normal outlook in life. And then there are people who have been bad accidents and traumas, whether they have amputated extremities or digits, or whether they have bad facial fractures or injuries. We can then restore those back to their normal form.
Right, and actually before the show, Dr. Doerr showed me a picture of a patient who just had his whole arm. It was we didn't want to show you the pictures.
Mangled extremity.
And it's amazing what you can do for that. Which means, well, so what's your background in plastic surgeries?
My background is in hand and reconstructive surgery. And we take a lot of upper extremity injuries. And then what we'll try to do is to restore, and we'll look at their form and cosmetics, but we also are very keen into restoring their function. And it's very important to restore function to somebody so that they can have an extremity that would work for them, whether it be around the house or whether they can go back to work with it. And so we kind of look forward to these challenges.
I mean, do you have a favorite part of the practice?
Well, I do a lot of trauma, so I've got to say that trauma reconstruction.
Not that you look forward
not
to.
that I look forward to people getting hurt.
It's gratifying.
Yeah, not that I look forward to people getting hurt, but I also look forward to the post-operative care and having patients improve their outlook. Because when somebody's initially injured, their outlook for the future is very grim. A lot of times they don't see themselves ever being able to work again. And as we go through the process of rehabilitation and therapy, they find pretty quickly that they're able to do small things, and then small things beget bigger things, and pretty soon they've adapted either to their injury or they're fully recovered.
Right. I mean, obviously there's risks to every surgery. I don't know. Maybe you want to talk a little bit about it.
We don't take risk lightly when we're operating, and the decision to operate is very involved. We work with the patient, and then hopefully the patients understand what the outcomes are going to be. You can have unrealistic expectations, and it's our job to sort of tone that down and make sure that we know exactly what we're hoping to achieve, along with what risks and potential pitfalls that we could have, and sometimes the outcomes are not always as good as you'd like. But if you plan the surgery well, if you discuss it thoroughly with the patient, our outcomes are outstanding because we make sure the patients are well prepared for their surgery, and the procedures are well thought out.
Right. Is there some psychological things that you have to do with the patients so they see maybe a therapist or someone? Because this could be, first of all, it's devastating.
It is.
Some of these things.
It is.
Could lead to some depression.
Right.
So could some of them get counseling afterwards, or is that a part of it?
It is a part of it. I've had some fairly devastating, work traumas, and it's pretty obvious that after the injury, the repaired and the reconstructed extremity and worker is afraid to go back to their work environment,
Right.
and so they suffer a form of post-traumatic stress disorder.
Exactly.
And yes, and so the advances that they've made in the military for post-traumatic stress disorder has now trickled over into the general population, and we utilize psychological evaluation and medications and therapeutics to get people back. And we're pretty fortunate that I think the case managers, the nurses that work with the workman's compensation are tuned to it, and they're and they appreciate our evaluating it and then addressing it early on, because if a worker is put off and they're not addressed for these traumatic situations, it may be delayed onset to them getting back to a functional life and back to work. So the psychological evaluation is very important.
Yeah, I would think it is.
Yeah.
And I think lastly, you do an operation and everything. How do you judge if it's successful? I kind of think if it heals properly, but is there more to that?
It heals properly, and also it's working properly.
Right.
So yeah, we go to great lengths while we're in the operating room, planning the procedure so that we know what tissues are viable, number one, the things that are still living can be reused. If they're not viable, what can we replace it with? And that's where this sort of term plastics, where we're taking other things to change shape and make it fit what we needed to do. And we've had to do tendon transfers, nerve grafting, et cetera, to reestablish function. And as long as you have the outcome and the final means to an end addressed, generally they will come out with functional and very good outcomes.
Okay, well, Doc, I hope none of us ever really need to see you, but if we do, I guess you're the guideline.
Well,
thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
It's what we have a passion for, so thank you.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back. So ends another episode of Meet Clifton. I'd like to thank our guests for coming on the program and for the valuable information that they provided. Let me also thank the fantastic volunteers that help on the show. This show wouldn't last without them, so thank you all. From George and myself and the rest of Meet Clifton, remember, be good to your friends and family, respect your neighbors, keep Clifton close to your heart. This is a great city. Thank you, God bless, and good night.